Hello, my fellow Ripplers. This is Chris Miles, your cash flow expert and anti-financial advisor. Welcome to our show. It's for you, those who work so freaking hard for your money, and you want your money to start working harder for you right now. You want that freedom and cash flow today, not 30 or 40 years from now, but right now, so you can live that life that you love with those that you love. But guys, it's not just about getting rich, it's about living a rich life, because as you're blessed financially, you have a greater capacity to bless the lives of others. Thank you for tuning in today. I appreciate you guys have been binging through these episodes like crazy. And I know you got over 600 and some odd episodes to get through. So good luck with that. But I appreciate you guys binging on it. But most importantly, I appreciate you guys actually doing something about it. Shout out to many of those of you that have actually already reached out to us. Many of you are looking to change your lives. And I can't tell you how much more renewed energy I feel, because I just know that you guys are actually taking this stuff and now you have hope, right? You actually have hope, which is really the core message I want to bring across here, is that there's hope. This could be simple, that anybody can do it. And you guys have proven that today. So shout out to our new clients in Money Ripples right now that have joined our Money Ripples family. Shout out to you guys especially. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, subscribe to this channel today, especially for those who are first time on here now. Subscribe, like this, and check out our other episodes that we have as well. You will love it. So check that out today.
Chris Miles was able to retire twice by the time he was 39 years old. But he's not content to just enjoy his own financial freedom and peace of mind. Chris wants you to have your own ripple effect so you can live free today. He's not the financial advisor you expected. He's the anti-financial advisor you deserve. He's jumping behind the mic right now, ready to make waves. Here's Chris Miles.
All right. So the real question is this, is FTX the new Enron? Right? Now, for those of you too young to know what Enron was from my day when I was in the 20s. Okay. And for some of you, maybe you were a much older adult than I was in the 20s, or back 20 years ago plus. Well, when I was a financial advisor, I came on the scene right about 2002, right? Very beginning of 2002, January to be exact. So right after the new year, I became a financial advisor. And already we've seen the market kind of get hit. Remember, 9/11 was just a couple months before this. Funny enough, the stock market was starting to recover after 9/11. Things were getting better in the stock market. But then, of course, big news starts hitting with Enron, WorldCom. All these companies coming out that said, hey, guess what? We're actually broke. Sorry, we didn't tell you. We kind of lied about it. We cooked our books. And 2002 ended up being one of the worst stock market years ever. And that was the perfect time for me to become a financial advisor, right? Right when the stock market was just tanking fast. And I remember I reached out to just a few friends. I was young, just fresh out of college. So most of the people I was talking to at that time were my age. They were in their 20s or so, maybe 30s, new married or just young families. And I remember one of my friends said, hey, you should talk to my brother. He actually was at Enron, but just got laid off because the whole company went under. And so I called him. I called up his brother, and I was surprised to hear when I said, "Hey, my friend, your brother told me to give you a call. I'm a financial advisor. Love to talk to you about your situation, see how we can help you." And the guy just said, "Well, I don't know if you heard or not, but I was with Enron. I got laid off. On top of that, my stocks are now worth nothing. I had over $1 million of stocks there. Now it's worth nothing. I am flat broke. I don't want to talk about money to anybody right now at all." And that was that. That was the first and last time I spoke with that guy. And I felt for him. I mean, that guy, he didn't just lose his stock money, right? He lost his job. And what he thought was this beautiful nest egg was gone almost overnight. And so when I ask about this, is FTX, right, which has been run by really a 30-year-old kid, is FTX the next Enron? Or if you become more recent, is it the next Bear Stearns that kind of creates this next collapse? I'm not going to say it is or it isn't, but it's great to know that this always happens in every market cycle, right? Things get greedy, especially in the markets. Everybody gets overinflated. I mean, this guy's net worth was $23 billion. He was one of the wealthiest men in the world. Now he's completely off the radar. The guy is flat broke. He's worth almost nothing right now. Okay. Went through bankruptcy filings right now. The guy took over. In fact, I'll share this little interesting article here that I found on Time, where the new CEO says it's unprecedented. and saying basically it's a bigger mess than even Enron. So FTX is even worse. Enron, by the way, sparked a whole bunch of uncertainty in the market. The reason why the stock market tanked wasn't because the economy was worse. The economy was no different. It's because investors could no longer trust what the companies were saying about their profits. They didn't know whether they're profitable or not because they were cooking their books. And so they started going, and all the regulators started going in and hammering down on them, making sure everybody was doing it right. And guess what? A small percentage actually had cooked their books. But that small percentage, even I don't remember the exact number, let's just say it was even 3%, right? 3% of companies were cooking their books or weren't exactly honest in their books. That was enough to tank the overall stock market by about 22% that year. Okay. I mean, it got everybody to question everything. They're saying, well, are these stocks really worthwhile or not? We don't know. Same thing here with FTX. People thought there was plenty of money here. It was safe. Hey, I have my money stored here. My account says it has this balance. Next thing you know, poof, gone, right? Completely gone. Another one, another article I saw here recently, the person that was recently convicted, Elizabeth Holmes. She's the founder and CEO of Theranos, the health company there, does like blood testing and things like that. Well, she just got fined $400 million special assessment, and she's supposed to have 11 and a quarter years in prison starting in April 2023. Same kind of thing. She lost over $121 million of investors' money. I mean, she raised $900 million to people that thought something was worthwhile, thought it was a great startup. And even people that were in favor of her said, well, investors know they're going to lose 90% of the time. That doesn't matter. The fact remains that even in her own words, she says, and I quote, when she's kind of given her little, forgiveness speech before she got convicted, she said, looking back, there are so many things I would do differently. I tried to realize my dream too quickly, right? She tried to realize her dream too quickly. It bit her in the butt. And it didn't just bite her, it bit her investors too. Same thing. When we're looking at FTX right here, same kind of thing happens. I mean, the reason why the guy that took over here was John Ray III. He's the new CEO of FTX now. As he's going through, here's what he says. He says, it's a complete failure of corporate control. Not to mention they were buying luxury items and houses and stuff for their employees. He said this, look, he said, never in my career have I seen such a complete failure of corporate controls and such a complete absence of trustworthy financial information as occurred here, Ray said. From compromised systems integrity and faulty regulatory oversight abroad to the concentration of control in the hands of a very small group of inexperienced, unsophisticated, and potentially compromised individuals, this situation is unprecedented. In other words, he said, the way they ran their company, they were like a bunch of kids. They were a bunch of idiots. He's like, I can't even believe they did this. There was no corporate controls. They weren't even doing their meeting minutes. They weren't doing anything that a company should be doing. They weren't doing it. They were completely reckless with their books. And that's why they've gone under, right? That's the kind of crap we're talking about here. That's what it leads up to. And what's happening is this is just the beginning, guys. There's going to be a wave of more companies just like this, more news just like this, more investors losing money. And whenever this happens, this is when the regulators start cracking down some more, start punishing people, throwing people in prison. And the cycle happens every market cycle. The real question you got to ask yourself is, if you're invested in companies like this, if you're even got money involved in companies like this, your money is at risk. This is why it's so important, especially now, even in the alternative investment space, even in real estate, you got to be extra, extra cautious, because if a company is not doing right by their books, if they don't have their financials in order, you are going to lose money, right? Even if they have the best properties in the world, if they can't run their numbers right, they run their books right, you're going to lose. I remember the last recession, there was a guy I knew that, a real estate investor here in Utah, had really over $100 million empire, quote unquote, bought lots and lots of properties. He would use investors' credit and he would use investors' money to buy these properties, paying them very high returns on their hard money loans. Yet at the end of the day, he wasn't cash flowing these properties. They were turning them so quickly because they could flip it. It was in a really good, bullish type of real estate market, where things were hot, kind of like they were for us 2021, right? He was moving and flipping properties left and right. He could be sloppy. In fact, when they did the books later, found out like about 97% of the properties had no renters. A lot of times the weeds were growing, the lawns weren't maintained. They were just empty properties sitting there vacant. No one had anything to do with them. Well, long story short, he's now in prison. Okay. He's now in prison. Investors lost tons of money. Even though they tried to liquidate the assets, it wasn't enough because, of course, the values dropped during that period of time. the models seem great. Okay. This guy wasn't trying to defraud investors. He wasn't knowingly or intentionally doing that. Same thing with Holmes here, right? With her company, with Theranos. It's not like she was probably trying to defraud investors, but you can get caught up in things and become blind when times are good. And this is something I've warned about for a long time, is that when times are good, when people are euphoric, people get lazy, especially those that haven't been through multiple market cycles, that understand this, that have seen what happens every time this occurs. They get sloppy, they lose money. And this could happen to even the most experienced traders. You got to stay humble, you got to stay knowledgeable, you got to stay on top and flexible when this kind of stuff happens. So guys, my warning is this, and this is going to be a pretty short episode, but just know there are going to be more companies like this. There are going to be more companies like this in the stock market. I think you're going to see more of a crash, just like you saw even with 2002. Remember, the economy was strengthening after 9/11, but because no one could trust the numbers of those companies because people were cooking their books, that was when the point the market actually suffered the worst during Y2K. You could be caught in that same place, especially if you don't really know what's going on with your money. If you don't know who you're investing with, does your financial advisor know who they're investing with? And I will tell you, no, they don't. They don't know who they're investing with. If they're even putting it into a mutual fund, they don't know the money manager. They don't know what's going on. Even if they manage it themselves, they don't know the company intimately to really know if they're telling the truth or not. They're completely guessing, completely shooting in the dark. They're in the blind, no more knowledgeable than you are. Yet, why would you turn your money over to those people? Guys, money ripples exist because of this kind of crap. We exist because we don't want you blindly putting money in places, especially with people that are blind anyways. It's the blind leading the blind when you put your money with advisors who really don't know what's going on. And when this stuff starts happening, your money suffers. The financial advisors are fine. Yeah, they'll lose a little bit in their assets under management, but you know what they're going to tell you? Put more in. It's on sale. Buy now, so that they can keep their commissions up, keep their fees coming in, while you suffer and lose money and could be set back 5, 10, 15, 20 years in your progress because you chose their path. I'm inviting you to choose a different path. Choose one where it's actually been vetted. Doesn't mean it's guaranteed, but it means that we're trying to take as little risk as possible, managed risk, so that you know you're in control. You know the people you're investing with. It's not some random company that you're investing with. By the way, if you're a business owner, you're investing in everybody else's company. Why? Why would you invest in somebody else's company you have no control over, have no knowledge about, versus your own company where you can drive up your own stock price, drive up your own revenues, your own profits, and make more money and get yourself out of the rat race faster? That is my challenge to you guys, is to question it. Don't believe that the news has got it figured out. Don't believe your financial advisor or even the companies that have these stock prices got it figured out. Your money is at risk, and there will be a lot of people that will lose a lot of money here over the next few years because they were not prepared. You need to be prepared. You need to make sure that you're investing in the right places. You've got questions for us, reach out to us at moneyripples.com. Make it a wonderful and prosperous week. We'll see you later.